Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps and Jerel Hendricks here for our Moving the Chains 2024 Coaching Carousel show. Guys, not quite as many as last year, but still, I think you said, John, around 40 jobs changed over. So a lot of stuff to get into here tonight on this program.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting stuff. There's not as many coaching changes as we saw as last year, but still a lot of really big programs with some new faces, or at least maybe not a new face, but a new guy at the helm.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this, guys. We had a lot the last couple of years. This cycle, not so much. I feel like this cycle went longer than last time. It took a while to get these jobs filled. I think there was like one that we're recording this, July 24th, and just had a job get filled last night. So, and then had a retirement that happened, earlier this week. So it's going to be fun to dive in and, start talking about these new coaches.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, this is John Epps. I know the hair is gone, but this is the same guy that you guys see every week during the preview show. So this is the same John Epps for sure. But if you guys tune in for the first time, appreciate you doing that. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. Our website, movingchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. If you guys don't know, we do weekly preview shows live on Tuesday night. We do recap shows that come out on Sundays typically. We do Friday night, especially on Friday night, where we kind of break down the games we saw on Twitter. We also do coach interviews, player interviews, and whatnot all throughout the season, all throughout the year on our platform. So definitely check us out there. But, John, let's get rolling here. We'll start with 5A, then we'll work our way down all the way through Skeeza, honestly. But let's start with the big boys here, talk through some of those changes, and get everybody's thoughts on those.
Yeah, we've only got 9 changes here in 5A. We'll start in the Midlands here. Chapin, former head coach Justin Gentry, he will be replaced by the defensive coordinator Ryan Cole for the Eagles.
I like this move. Chapin is a program that has had some success lately. Maybe not, a deep playoff run type level team, it feels like, but they've had some high-powered offenses, especially Coach Cole on the defensive side. Maybe he can bring a little more defensive mentality to those guys. He's been around the program for a long time now. I like this hire. I think maybe he can kind of put his stamp on a little bit more, and they can make a deeper run here now with him at the helm.
Yeah, Chapin is, like you said, it's a program that's kind of just been on the cusp, like just looking to break through. I don't know how I feel about internal hires sometimes, but I think this is a good opportunity there for Coach Cole to kind of, like you said, put his stamp on the program and see if he could get them over the hump. It's easier transition, obviously, for the players, having somebody that you're familiar with and, maybe building on that foundation. But it should be very interesting, and I'm really hoping Chapin's in store for big things going forward.
I believe he had been on staff since 22. I think he actually had been there prior to that as well. So it might be his second stint there. A team that went 6-5 last year. I think the quarterback is back. Some other playmakers. They can make some noise. I like this hire there for the Blue Eagles.
Similar situation. We go to the upstate. Easily, the Green Wave. Jordan Dura is being replaced by Sam Houston. I know you're thinking not that Sam Houston, but the former defensive coordinator at Easley as well. And, Jerel, you say, you feel certain ways about internal hires sometimes. I think Chapin and Easley, kind of similar situation where they're close to being good. They're close to being good. And I think for programs like that, I think just having that consistency of someone in the program, I think I'm not saying it's definitely the right way, but I think there's something to be said for that, to have that consistency. Unless you can, you're going out and, you're landing some huge, enormous hire. Not everybody does that, because those guys there's not enough of those guys, right? And I think if you're not doing that, having consistency is a pretty good play.
Yeah. Before we get into like the commentary on the hire there, want to, send, our well wishes to Coach Dura. We know he had to step down, had some medical issues there that, took him away from that position. So always want to prioritize health and family and things like that before football. So, hopefully he's doing well and going to be able to recover and get back after it. But Kevin and I got to catch up with Coach Houston there This is a cool one though, because I always love those hometown guys that get an opportunity, to lead their programs there, and he really seems fired up about it. Young guy, got some college experience and things like that, and he's really excited about leading his team, leading this community, and having those guys fly around the ball on defense. And they've had some success offensively through the last few years, so hopefully he can build on what that foundation's already been set there.
I love the hire. I really do. Coach Dura had them heading the right direction already. And then now Coach Houston coming in just kind of solidifies that. I mean, they've got, like you mentioned, Jerel, they've got some really talented pieces on offense coming back this year, and they're still very young. So maybe not this year in their year for a deep run. It might not be. But next year, I think they could make a really, really big splash. But I still expect them to be a lot better this year. Love Coach Houston. Love his attitude. Really fun to talk to. Really good dude to talk to. Down to earth. Understood. And we mentioned it every year in these shows. We're like, hey, when you hire an alum, they understand what it means to play football in that community. Like, they get what the community is looking for. They get how to interact with the community, the engagement that they need. They understand what it means to be a part of the Green Wave. And I think that's a great hire for Easley. Looking for big things out of Coach Houston.
We'll bounce back to the lower state. And this program, last 2 years, there's been a lot going on with who the coach is. Fort Dorchester, Joshua Smith was coach in 23. Now they will bring in Sean Lorzano, coming out of Florida, as their head coach for Fort Dorchester. Fort Dorchester had staple head coach for the longest time. Now I'm seeing some flux with that program.
A team that we know always has talent. Last year I think they went 7-4, even with all that turmoil, pieces moving around. We actually saw their final game in the playoffs against White Knoll, where they got just absolutely hammered. But Coach Lorenzano, we had a chance to talk to him earlier in this offseason. If you haven't seen that interview, go check it out. It's on our Facebook and YouTube pages and whatnot. Really, really neat guy, really dynamic, brings a lot of new energy to the program, which I think might be a good thing. A lot of those folks down there were not super happy with the way the coaching search went, with the way the changes went there for the Patriots over the last couple of years with Coach LaPrade and whatnot. And there's some folks that aren't really happy now with the way this one went. But I think it makes sense to me to get some new blood in there, kind of start fresh, get rid of some of that old regime, and just kind of let the program that we know can be successful, start over and go kind of maybe a little bit of a new direction, but still make some big strides.
I want to start off by, commending the job that Coach Smith did, in an interim role. Like you said, there's a lot of turmoil, going into this season. Coach LaPrade was in, then he was out, then he was in, then he was out. And he was able to kind of right that ship. Obviously it was a down season by 4D standards, a team and a program that's used to playing for state titles, but still, I think it's a great job that he did. I know he's moved on, from that program. But when I talk about Coach Lorenzano, man, it was awesome speaking with him. And like Kevin said, energy, juice, like that's what I got from him, man. He is pumped up, fired up about leading that 4D program. And, another coup, South Carolina, dipping into Florida, we'll see a few of these, but, especially down in the low country. We saw it last cycle with Coach Hodge at Berkeley and things like that. But, it says a lot about the state of South Carolina and the high school football that's played here that, it's attractive for these guys to cross state lines and come coach these guys.
This is a guy that's had, multiple head coaching stops in Florida. We mentioned Lake Howell's his last stop. He was at Cypress Creek before that. He has been around some programs. I think he mentioned the Lake Howell program, Jerel, where he really turned them around. They were nothing, and he really built them up to having a solid program. This will be a little bit different job because they don't need turning around. They just need somebody to steer the ship in the right direction. I know, obviously, in this day and age with the kids transferring and whatnot, it's a little bit different. But if he can keep that talent in-house there for the Patriots, they'll be a contender every year.
Especially, and that's a scary program if you bring a lot of energy into it. That's ticking time bomb, as they say. Going back to the upstate, here we've got another tremendous program, a program that has been doing very, very well as of late, the Greenville Red Raiders. Greg Porter, a staple at Greenville for a while. He's going to be replaced by a name, if you're familiar with Georgia football at all, Jabo Shaw coming across the state lines. This is a really exciting hire. I remember Jabo Shaw playing college football. This is a cool hire for Greenville. You love Greg Porter, love everything that he did at Greenville and what he's done with that program. But if you got to replace Greg Porter, J-Bo Shaw's a pretty tasty hire to get.
Yeah, this Greenville job, this is a fun one. It's kind of been like the flagship program, in the Greenville County area. I'd say them and like Hillcrest, of course. So I'm sure that made it attractive for Coach Shaw to come over here and lead that program. Coach Porter did a fantastic job there, building that program and just getting them further and further in the playoffs. They went on a little magical run, last year, getting up to the upper state final before they ultimately lost to the eventual state champion in Westside in 4A. They make the jump to 5A. Coach Shaw, you mentioned he was at Wayne County. I know he spent time, at Rabun, and he's really had some great programs, and South Carolina fans are going to be excited about that. Obviously, it's Connor Shaw's brother, so I think he's going to bring a lot of energy, some newness to the program, and obviously his resume speaks volumes for what he's going to do in the future.
Coach Shaw went 7-4 last year at Wayne County. Previously coached at Rabun County, like you mentioned, Jerel, Georgia Southern, West Point, and Western Carolina. He was at Wayne County the past 2 seasons there, and similar to Fort Dorchester, a program that Greenville here does not need they're not building up like that. Like they went 10-4 last year. They've been big time contenders the last couple of years. So really just more of a retool and try to get them over the hump there. One thing I'm sure a lot of Red Raiders fans are curious about is what kind of offense they're going to run. He's already said he's not running the triple option. He said they're going to play fast. They're going to play no huddle. If they got more, receivers and quarterback numbers, they'll throw it. They can run it, but they're not going triple option. So don't have to worry about that. They're from his Georgia Southern days. They'll be a fun team to watch. Coach Shaw can coach football, man. That whole family they know how the game works, how to win. I think he's going to do a great job there at Greenville, a program that, like Jerel mentioned, going to 5A now. We'll see how that shakes out for them. But an exciting program to follow. They've had no shortage of talent, that's for sure, the last couple seasons.
Yeah, speaking of talent, though, I want to jump in there. They lost a lot, though, from last year's team.
They did.
Through graduation, through the portal that has trickled down to high school. They've lost some talent there. So it's going to be interesting to see, some young guys, maybe some new faces that's going to have to carry the banner for the Red Raiders next year.
I think they're going to have some guys, we may not know the names yet, but I think they're going to have some guys step up. I think Coach Stahl is going to have a lot of tools and a lot of weapons to work with. Now we go down to Kershaw County. Lugoff Elgin parting ways with Matt Campbell. Coach Campbell had been there for a number of years. He's going to be replaced by Leon Boulware, who's had a great run just north of Kershaw County up there in Louisville. Taking a step up, a big step up in, a smaller school in Louisville, going to, Lugoff Elgin, kind of been bouncing back and forth between 4 and 5A. I think this is a really good hire for Lugoff Elgin. I think this is a good get. I think Boulware was going to get a big job, whether it was Lugoff Elgin or somewhere else, for, what he's done at Louisville the past few years. As a former Demon, I'm pretty excited about this. This is, I hope Coach Boulware's got a lot to work with there and can really get this program, head toward the right direction.
Like you mentioned, John, Coach Leon Boulware comes from Louisville. Been there the past 2 seasons, went 21-4. Had some nice runs as well there in the playoffs. Prior, he coached at Northwestern, Indian Land, Nation Ford, and Lancaster. You mentioned it, John. I mean, Coach Boulware was on a trajectory to get a very big job. Like, Louisville obviously is a great program. 1A, going out of 5A, a premier program like Lugoff Elgin came in and swept him off his feet. I'm sure that's awesome to see there for the Demons to get Coach Boulware. I'm excited to see. He is a guy who likes to spread it around, likes to throw it around, be fast, play fast. And I think that's probably a little bit of a change from what Lugoff Elgin has done in the past few years. But I think that's going to also bring some excitement to the program, man. And I think it's going to be really cool to see what he can build there. I think that's a region where they can make some noise. This new 5A there. They've got the likes of Sumter, who's always good, of course. Ridgeview taking a step up, but they're always a premier program. Outside of that, he's got Blythewood, Spring Valley, and Westwood, West Florence as well. I think they can certainly be in the mix in there. I think they can make some noise. And with that offense, man, they could really shake things up there in 5A.
Yeah, for sure. Coach Boulware, I can say friend of the program now. We've had him on multiple times. So it's always good to catch up with him and cool to see him take, I feel like John kind of put it modestly, take a leap, I would say, in his career, jumping from 1A to 5A. But like you said, Kev, man, loves offense, loves to sling the ball around. I'm excited to see what the Demons can do there, put up some points on the board there. And it's obviously going to be an adjustment. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time because, it's a program that's going to need some building. But he's obviously shown that he's a winner, and that's what you want when you're looking to, infuse some new energy into your program. So excited for Coach Bulwer, excited for the Demons and their trajectory. And in the future, I think we're going to see some big things. And like you said, Kev, they got an opportunity to shake it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, John, obviously you probably know better than us. You know a lot more folks in the area and kind of get a better feel for the program. But I think we're going to find out pretty quickly what they've got. You look at the schedule. Week 1, they got the rivalry game, Camden at home. I know the Bulldogs have kind of had you guys had your number the last couple of years, John. But I think Coach Bulwer is going to have something for them. I don't know if they're going to win the ball game. We'll see. But I expect to see a competitive matchup this year.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my expectations relatively low for game 1. I don't think it really matters whether that game's in Lugoff or at Zimp. It's going to be packed no matter what. And, the talent that Camden has, it travels. And it doesn't have to travel far for that game. But, I'm excited for Coach Bulwer. I know it's going to take a little bit of time for him, but hopefully, it's a great community. It's a community that supports the school, supports the team. And, I've seen the few years that Lugoff Elgin has been pretty good. And it's a cool environment. It's a lot of fun. We've run into Daniel people that go, man, I don't like Lugoff Elgin. I remember going down there and losing that game. It can be a cool place when they're good. So it'd be great to see Coach Bulwer get him back. Probably not game 1, but hey, we'll see how soon.
Well, they get Lower Richland week 0, so they have a game before Camden. So you got a little bit of warm up.
Okay, that's right.
We'll see what happens.
And here's a big name here, big time program. Rock Hill, former coach Bubba Pittman. He's going to be replaced by Randy Birch, who's previously the co-defensive coordinator at Gaffney. So this is a Rock Hill program that, we know how good that program can be. It can be dominant. Since South Point has been became a school and became as big as they are, that talent has just been spread out further in York County in that Rock Hill area. But Rock Hill have been getting better. They're getting better. And they're another program where I feel like they're close. They're close.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that Coach Birch is a very good addition to this program. Obviously, got a championship pedigree there, coming over from Gaffney. It was great catching up with him, a couple weeks ago and, just getting his ideas on what he wants to do. But like you said, Rock Hill is a premier program historically. And, they've been hurt a little bit by the South Point addition. And, it's stupid to think otherwise, especially with the success that South Point has had, but Rock Hill, I feel like is still that sleeping giant. They just need to be, awoken again. And then I know Kevin's going to go through it, but man, they've got tons of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Coach Birch, co-DC at Gaffney since 2015, on staff since 2013. Previously, he played collegiate at Western Carolina as well there. I think this is a home run hire. A program in Rock Hill that we say sleeping giant, but I feel like, even they haven't had the success they went the last couple of years, they're trending in the right direction. You can see it feels like there's been more and more talent lately there. You look at Robbie Oots, the tight end who went to Alabama a couple of years back. Last year, quarterback Matthew Wilson goes to App State. This year, they've got Malik Clark, who is committed, I think, maybe on the 25th or 27th, right after this program, to a Power 5 school. He's a 5-star receiver. They've got a lot of talent now there. They are poised to make some big noise, and they got a big-time football coach. We talked about Coach Bulwer was going to make a big jump to a big program at some point. Same thing with Coach Birch, a guy that's been rumored to make some moves the past couple of years as a head coach here and there. Finally found the right fit for him in Rock Hill. Talking to him, like you mentioned, Jerel, we kind of got some similarities, some differences from Gaffney to Rock Hill. And like one of them is like, the athletes are very similar. The tradition is very similar. I mean, Rock Hill, Football City, USA, you got so many guys who have been in the league. Going to be a lot of fun to see what he does there. The way the new stuff shakes out, that region's pretty tough. They got Northwestern in there. They got Indian Land in there. Catawba Ridge is in there. Going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. But I think he is going to make some big moves there for the Bearcats. I think they've got a potential to have a really good season and really kind of grow into a big time program in the next couple of years.
And, looking at, I've gotten lucky to see Gaffney. We all have see Gaffney play, at least once or twice a year the last handful of years, really since we've been doing this. And I feel like you could take clips of me after every Gaffney game I've been to, and I think I say the exact same thing. It's, boy, that defensive line and that linebacker level is so tough and so good. The talent, again, the talent at Rock Hill shouldn't be far off than, what we've seen at Gaffney the last few years. If Coach Birch can bring that mentality, that tenacity, into the program as well, that could be that could be the missing ingredient for Rock Hill.
And Rock Hill, they went 6-5 last year. They hosted a playoff game. They did lose to Spartanburg. Hosting them, that was kind of surprising last year, but they've been making strides the right direction. You got to replace the quarterback. I know they got a couple options there. Ian Grissom coming in from Louisville, along with another kid that was already in the program there. But if they can throw the ball to Clark, get it in his hands 5 to 10 times a game, they're gonna score some points. I think they can make some noise this year.
Going back down to the lower state, we got R.B. Stahl. Ben Lailson, former coach there. He's going to be replaced by Kenneth Freeman, another defensive guy, the former defensive coordinator at Ashley Ridge. So staying down in the lower state, Coach Freeman.
Coach Freeman, 24 years of coaching experience in South Carolina. And, this is a tough job. Like, there's no sugarcoating about it, man. I mean, you got all those programs around there that if a kid has some talent, like, they're probably going to try to find a way to go to one of the other schools, like a Fort Dorchester or Somerville or Oceanside or Wando or whoever it is. R.B. Stahl, has not had a lot of success. I mean, they went, I think, 2-8 last year, and that was probably one of their better seasons they've had in the last 5 to 10 years. Really, I feel like a program like this, guys, you got, when you're hiring a coach, you got two options. You either go with the guy who is young, energetic, looking for his first job, an upstart guy who's had some success as a coordinator or even a position coach, whatever it is, or you go the exact opposite. You go a guy who's been in the game for a long time and really understands what it's like to teach these kids and mold these kids. And that's the route that Stahl went with Coach Freeman. And maybe that's a good fit. We shall see. I'm not expecting him to come in and, light the world on fire in year one, maybe not even year two, but I think he's a guy that's a good football mind. I think it makes sense for the situation, and I'd certainly wish him the best down there at Stahl.
Yeah, and I actually like that second option. I like this hire. I like going with Coach Freeman there. You get a veteran in the game. You get somebody who can steady the program, someone that has seen success. Obviously that's a good area to be in. And it's like you said, it's just got so many challenges with the program, due to its location and, just not really having that history of, performing well. So I do like that. I think it's great for the players. I think it's great for the program, to have that steadying presence and Coach Freeman there. And, I don't know. I won't say you, I'll say me. I root for programs like this because, those kids are giving their all, they're getting after it and trying their best to do well, with the challenges that they face at that program. And, I hope they get a little taste of success this year.
Yeah. They're not, their practices aren't any shorter than anybody else's. And it's, it's still hot and humid when they're out there in August and September practicing. They're putting in the work that everybody else is too. A similar program, different part of the state. We go to Wade Hampton High, where Travis Miller, former head coach, he's being replaced by, again, somebody from Florida, Coach Reuben Wright. I don't know anything about Coach Wright, to be honest with you, but the fact that Wade Hampton's pulling somebody from the state of Florida, I think says a lot. Is Wade Hampton, are they really taking football serious now? What does this move say to you guys?
Well, lucky for you, John, and everyone who's listening to this podcast, we talked to Coach Wright last week, and, he gave us an update on his story, update on the program and, his plans for it. I mean, Coach Wright has a ton of experience in both high school and college. I mean, the list goes on of his stops in state. I mean, he's from Greer, so he's semi-local to the area, right there in Taylor's where Wade Hampton is. He had a lot of enthusiasm and energy about him, to be such a veteran in the coaching game. Again, another program like Stall that has its disadvantages. Wade Hampton gets bumped up because they have the Fine Arts Center, and that counted for realignment purposes and all that stuff that the high school league likes to do. But that's for a different podcast. But I'm really excited about what Coach Wright can do there. Love talking to him. Very self-aware, Kevin. Like, that was the biggest thing that I got from him. He understood that this job is going to take effort, not only from him, the players, the community, but everybody that's a general and everybody that wants them to have success. And I'm rooting for him, even though Wade Hampton's kind of a rival of my Devil Dogs there. I know they open up the season with those guys, but I think Coach Wright's going to do a lot of great things for that program, get them steered in the right direction. And, I think he's going to have some success fairly early on. And I want to talk about Coach Miller real quick. He laid a good foundation. He had a little bit of success there. He did some really good things with that program. So it's not like they're starting from scratch.
Yeah, depending on when this interview comes out, the interview with Coach Wright may or may not be out, one way or the other. But if it's not out, it's coming, one or the other. But yeah, I super enjoyed how transparent and candid he was with us. He admitted, he's like, hey, guys, we are super young. Like, this is not going to be our year to make a deep playoff run. We don't think like we're really young. And you couple that with them going to 5A, with them being in a really tough region with the likes of Bowling Springs and Gaffney and Spartanburg and Burns. I mean, it's going to be tough sledding this year for the Generals for sure. But you mentioned Jerel, so much experience. He was a DC at Wharton. Prior, he coached at South Florida, University of South Florida, Western Carolina, Greenwood, Carolina, Eastside, Presbyterian, Blythewood, Seneca, Northwestern, and Greer. The guys won multiple state championships. I know he won at Greer. He won one with Coach Jeff Scott there that first year at Blythewood. He was the DC of that program. The guy knows what it takes to build a program. Like you mentioned, Jerel, they went 2-8 last year, but 2 years ago had I think a 4-6, 4-7 season, made the playoffs there, had some nice wins under Coach Miller, so they were kind of heading in the right direction. I think the key is getting some of these kids to stay at Wade Hampton and to play football for Wade Hampton is going to be a key for him, of course. But really dynamic personality, really great guy to talk to. The kids are going to love him. I could certainly see how he can be a successful football coach. I mean, the way that he interacted with us, I mean, and I can only imagine what it's like to play for him. He's going to be a great coach there for Wade Hampton. He understood that it's going to be a tough build. He gets that, but I think he's mature enough to know what it's going to take and how long it might take. But I think he's going to do good things there at Wade Hampton.
And our last coaching change for 5A happens at Wando. Coach Rocco Adrian being replaced by Isaiah Perrin, who steps over as or was formerly the offensive coordinator at Stratford.
Coach Perrin, a young guy, an energetic guy that we got to talk to earlier this offseason. He'd been the OC at Stratford for the past 3 seasons. Prior, spent time at Wilson, Swansea, and Lower Richland. I think he's a perfect fit for Wando, a program that I believe, guys, if I'm not mistaken, is still the biggest school in the state, or it was for the longest time there. They've got athletes in those halls somewhere. There's no reason for them to be going 1-9 every season. I think he's going to bring in some new philosophies, a new playbook, new scheme, get those kids excited. I think they've got a potential to make some noise down there in the Low Country.
Yeah, I think Coach Perrin might be the first coach that we had on in the offseason this year. If not, he was very early on. So that means that he's been, through spring ball, been with these guys, through the summer workouts and things like that. So had the chance to really put his stamp on the program going forward. And Kevin, like you said, man, there's athletes down there, especially in Charleston, especially at Wando. I mean, this is a school where Lucy Beckham, broke off from. They're already 4A and they've already had success. So, there's athletes there. There's got to be something in that saltwater down there. I think Coach Perrin's going to be able to, implement his system, be able to score some points, and he better, because, man, football in the Low Country, especially in those higher classifications, is getting very good very quickly. And so he's going to have to be able to learn on the job very, very quickly and adapt. And I think he's the guy for the job.
Yeah, super excited about that, guys. Before we hop into 4, get a quick shout out from our friends of the program, and then we'll look down to the 4A class.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, KONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville. Go to kona.care to learn more.
We'll jump into 4A now. First program on the docket This is a recent one. Coach Dwayne Garrick, the former coach at Aiken, going to be replaced by Heath Corley, who is or was on staff at Aiken. Now will step up as the head coach. This was a pretty quick move. I know this happened, earlier this week, maybe last week. I know we're a little bit dated on when this actually airs, but a very recent change.
Yeah, so recent that I have no notes on this other than I want to wish Coach Garrick, congratulations on a storied and prestigious career, coaching high school football. I mean, he's been one of the best, that we've seen in this state. We were so excited when he took this Aiken job, after the kind of turmoil that they had with the previous regime there, and, really thought he would be able to stabilize them and get them going. We've been big in that CSRA region the last couple years in trying to, learn more about those programs and those fan bases. And I don't think there's a more passionate region in the state than down there, near Aiken, and was really excited about this hire when it happened. But unfortunately, Coach Garrick decided to move on, and, they go in-house with a replacement. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Did not see if it's an interim tag or not. I don't think it is with Coach Corley there. So, he's got to, there's got to be a lot of trust from the administration, from Coach Garrick, to go ahead and put him in that position. And, I totally wish him the best. They've really had some struggles the last few years, and I really hope that he can get those guys going.
Certainly tough timing there for the program, but like you mentioned, Jerel, Dwayne Garrick, one of the best in the state, has had a ton of success. Definitely want to wish him well if it is his last stop. I know, one of the reasons I read that maybe, played into why he wanted to retire is the fact that the district wasn't providing an athletic trainer at practice, which, I mean,
wow,
that, I know this is maybe not the right show for that, but like, what are we doing? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like these, you need a trainer at practice. Like, I don't know what to say about that. That needs to be something that's happening there. But excited to see what Coach Corley can do. A program in Aiken that has not had a lot of success lately, but they have had talent. They've had a similar issue to other schools where they can't keep them at Aiken High. They keep moving away. But if somebody could come in there and kind of rejuvenate that program and keep some of those guys there, Coach Corley could have some success. We'll see what it is this year. I don't know. I know some folks in the CSRA are very high on Aiken. Not sure what that means. We'll see, but interested to see what Coach Corley can bring there to the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough situation for Aiken. You got to make a move quick because you're going to be hitting the field here. I think, was it next week?
I believe so.
Start. So I want to go ahead and preface everyone and warn everybody. We're in 4A. You're going to hear some programs you don't expect to hear in 4A. So just everybody get ready for that. Bishop England, next on the docket. John Canty, the former head coach at Bishop England. He's going to be replaced by Logan Hall, who previously was the offensive coordinator at very big-time powerhouse in Skeeza, Pinewood Prep.
Bishop England up from 2A up to Class 4A now. If you guys missed our reclassification show, we did that a few months back, kind of broke down some of those changes we saw with the new multiplier and whatnot. But Coach Hall, been on staff at Bishop England, at Pinewood, like you mentioned, John, as the OC. Also was a coach at South Carolina, an offensive analyst type role there for them. So got a lot of great experience there under Coach Muschamp and Coach Spurrier, a young, energetic guy. Another guy that was super transparent with us when we talked to him, like understands that, hey, they're going to have some disadvantages when it comes to like numbers. Like they're just not going to have the depth of some teams, but they're going to play hard. I like the style that he's going to bring to the program, a program that, could use some energy, it feels like, over the last couple of years. Football has not been a big sport for Bishop England the last couple of years, at least not a lot of success in that realm. But I think with Coach Hall, they can certainly make some noise, and I think he's going to head them in the right direction here pretty quickly.
Yeah, go check out our interview with Coach Hall, specifically if you're a South Carolina fan. Obviously, we want everyone to listen, but he had some great stories about his time coaching at South Carolina that had us cracking up, and just really excited about this opportunity for him. He did a great job of explaining those disadvantages and really explaining, they're a private school down there in the Charleston area, and how, their school's set up, the feeder schools, because they're, it's a religious school through the Catholic faith, and how to they have to outfit their program and things like that. But they have some really cool programs, and they're going to be in a disadvantage numbers wise, but not resources wise. I mean, these guys are really bought in. This community is really bought into that school and that program, and I think Coach Hall is going to have some success. And I love these high school coaches that have that college coaching background. It just prepares these kids and players for so much more than football, also for life and things that are going forward.
Now, the next program here, this is one of the most attractive jobs in the state. Gilbert High School, Coach Chad Leapart obviously has done a tremendous job with the Indians. He steps away from coaching. I believe he stays within the district.
Yep.
So he's still working. He's going to be replaced by the offensive line coach, Ozzy Exume. And I think this is this situation where you've got a great program. Keep it rolling. Keep it on the tracks. Put somebody there that is still within the program and knows what's going on.
Plug again. It's another coach that we had on our program, Coach Exume. Man, he was a lot of fun to talk to. Like you said, John, this program is got a very, very solid foundation. Coach Leapart, I know he transitioned into the district AD role down there in Lexington, and we didn't get to catch up with him at the coaching convention, but we did see him, and he looked stress-free going into camp. So he looked like he's enjoying his new role for sure. But going back to Coach Exume, y'all know I love offensive line coaches, so that's going to be a lot of fun for those guys. Gilbert America, one of the best venues that we've been able to catch a game, and Gilbert as a whole is one of the better programs in the state. They've got a lot of talent returning, and I expect this program to continue to build on the foundation that Coach Leapart set forth for them, so that they can do some big things and make a run at a state title.
This team started off, I think, 9-0 last year, lost to BC in the last week of the regular season, then I think losing to Camden there in the playoffs, I believe it was. But a team that had a lot of success has a lot of those guys back. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. They've lost a couple assistants, have taken other jobs, but Coach Exume is going to do a good job there. He's another young, energetic guy. Collegiate experience, played at Newberry, has been at Gilbert for a long time now. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. This is a program that was really not good at all until Coach Leapart got there, and he really built them up. I think Coach Ozzy is going to do a great job kind of just building on top of that and making them even bigger, even better each and every season.
Yeah, we got to see Gilbert a couple of times this past year, and one thing that I noticed about Gilbert that I was very impressed with is how fluid and smooth that offense runs. They weren't reinventing the wheel offensively, but, they play good disciplined football. And it just makes sense to have an offensive line, a tough offensive line coach leading that program. I think they're going to be very tough in 4A. I think that's going to be an exciting program to watch this year and the coming years at that level. And moving on, we've got another smaller school taking a big step up. Great Collegiate. Coach Adam Holmes, big friend of the program, has done incredible things. I don't know if you could be more successful at a program like Great Collegiate that Coach Holmes was. He's going to be replaced by former Silver Bluff head coach D'Angelo Bryant. This is a rich get richer situation right here. If you got to replace a guy like Adam Holmes, D'Angelo Bryant is an amazing choice.
Yeah, Coach Bryant had been at Silver Bluff for 6 seasons. Prior coached at White Knoll, played at Wake Forest collegiately as well. Silver Bluff, hometown guy. Tough for him to leave, but of course, sometimes you get a great opportunity like Great Collegiate, and you got to go. A team that went technically 15-4 last year with some of the forfeits and whatnot. I guess it was. They played for the state title, lost that by 7 to Oceanside Collegiate, but a team that returns a lot of talent. Jerel and I talked to Coach Bryant a while back, and we mentioned it in our interview, like, hey, people are talking about some of the big names in 4A. I think Great Collegiate's getting a little bit overlooked. I expect them to be a contender, even with some lower numbers than what some of the other schools are going to have with them, going up from 2A to 4A. They got a lot of talent at the top level, especially. I think Coach Bryant is going to do a fantastic job there. I expect big things out of that program.
Yeah, this one's it's cool to see on the spreadsheet. Coach Holmes and Coach Bryant are some of the first coaches to kind of, let us talk to them and interview them and give us a peek into their programs. So it's cool to see those two names together there. Coach Holmes, wish him success. He's transitioned on to, career with equipment sales there. We were able to see him this past weekend at the convention, and, he built that program. I mean, he is the first and only coach until Coach Bryant got there. And, Coach Bryant comes with a fantastic resume. The cool thing when we got to speak with them was them, getting to talk to Coach Bryant about those two actually matching up in the 2A title game. I think that was in 21, where they faced off against one another. And he mentioned how it's tough for him to walk past that state championship banner that's hanging up there at Gray Collegiate. But he's definitely trying to hang up another one there. Gray obviously moving up. They've kind of been the poster child for, realignment and all that good stuff. But it's just a great program. Got their new stadium now, got a lot of talent, and got a great coach. So I expect big things out of the War Eagles going forward.
Yeah, they're another 2A program coming up to 4A that I think they're going to do very well. We've seen Gray a number of times. Their roster not as big, but the guys on the football field, they certainly are. They're a big physical group, and they're gonna if they get beat, they're gonna make people earn it. They're gonna be very tough. Going on to Lawrence now, Coach Jerel Smith, former coach at Lawrence High School, Gary be replaced by Greg Porter from Greenville. This is a great hire for Lawrence, and Lawrence, they haven't been great in a while. Coach Porter could be that guy. We saw what Coach Porter did at Greenville High School. Can he do the same at Lawrence? I think that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Talk about making a splash hire, and talk about the Movin The Chains, mentions being shambles with this particular hire here. But Coach Porter, one of the best in the business, he's going to get those guys rolling. He's an excellent football coach, state championship winning football coach. And, he's been linked to this job for a long time now. They finally pulled the trigger on it, and I think it's a great thing. This might be the best hire in the state of South Carolina this year.
Yeah, Greg Porter to Lawrence, first reported by Movin The Chains. Coach Porter was the head coach at Greenville for 5 seasons, went 45-15. Prior was the head coach at Hillcrest, won a state title there in 2014. Also was a head coach at Southside prior to that. Big-time hire here for Lawrence. Coach Smith, those guys went 2-9 last year. Coach Porter took Greenville to 10-4, and that's been it's been business as usual for the Red Raiders. Like, they've been a 10-win program for a few years now. He's done a great job there. Lots of talent, I think, in that area. Lawrence and that community will really rally around what he's doing. I think they're going to have a lot of success. I don't know if it's a year one type huge success program, but I think in 2 or 3 years, they will be really, really, really good there.
I think so, too. I think once Coach Porter figures it out, that's going to be a tough program. But, yeah, maybe not year one. Now for Jerel's alma mater, Travelers Rest, Michael Lancaster, former head coach of the Devil Dogs, being replaced by Chris Goodman, the former St. Joseph's head coach. And I just don't know, and you guys know it better than I do. I don't know, going from a very small school to a bigger school, to me, it's different. But St. Joseph's has been an awesome program. So maybe this is not as big of a jump as I think it is.
Coach Goodman had been at St. Joe's for 3 seasons, went 30-9. Prior, he coached at Chandler Preparatory Academy in Phoenix, in that area out there. Super exciting a move here for Travelers Rest. A program that we thought made a pretty good hire with Coach Lancaster a couple of years ago, coming from Dorman. That didn't really work out like both sides wanted it to. Jerel, you're more in touch with that program than I am, but I would have to say this is a super exciting hire there for the Devil Dogs. So, Coach Goodman has been successful wherever he's been. I think he's going to bring some energy there, and it's going to do a good job for TR.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this one. We'll definitely get to catch up with him soon. So we'll definitely get in depth on what his plans are for the program there. Just being frank, I mean, TR is a program. It's a tough job. I mean, you're already in Greenville County, which I think is doing a fantastic job of boosting their athletic resources countywide. But it's one of those programs that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. They've had athletes, but they want to play basketball there, or they want to play baseball. They don't really want to play football. And so if he can, rally, recruit those hallways and get those guys out there, playing ball, I think he's got an opportunity, because this is a community, man. It's, it was a small town. It's not so small anymore, but they love, everything TR, man. They bleed the blue and gold. And so, like, if he can prove that he's a winner, I mean, Chico Bolin is going to be packed to the gills every week. We've seen it in previous regimes where they've tasted a little bit of success and, made it to the playoffs, not actually won in the playoffs, but made it to the playoffs, had some pretty decent teams, competed for region championships. But it's probably never going to be a state championship level program, but I think that he can do a good job and make them a consistent winner. They moved to 4A here. They've kind of been that 3A, 4A kind of jumping back and forth between those. But I think it's exciting to have Coach Goodman there. Obviously things didn't work out with Coach Lancaster. I mean, that had to have been a huge transition from him going to Dorman to TR resource wise, and completely understand his decision to move on. But I'm really excited about the prospects with Coach Goodman there.
I really like the way this region looks for TR as well, Jerel. You got the perennial powerhouse Daniel, of course, there. You've got a Greer program that is usually pretty good. And then after that, a lot of teams that have been up and down. Seneca, Pickens, Berea, Blue Ridge. I mean, teams at TR you would think can be as good, if not better than. I think Coach Goodman has a chance to make some real moves here, some real waves in the first couple of years, and I love that hire for the Devil Dogs.
And the cool thing about that region and that schedule is, I mean, you have some like rivals there, so it's those are going to be some very fun games for those kids, getting to play Berea for region, getting to play Blue Ridge for region. They play Pickens and everything every year, kind of got a little bit of a rivalry there with the Blue Flame. So that's going to make it exciting. Obviously, Daniel's the boogeyman that's coming in and probably going to win that region. But like you said, they have a real opportunity to at least make it into the playoffs.
Now for the final 4A program of the evening, Wilson. Roddy Mooney, former head coach at Wilson. Daryl Page is going to step in. He's got the interim tag right now. Daryl Page coming over from West Florence on staff there for the Knights. What do we know about this hire?
Yeah, this one was kind of strange. It was kind of abrupt. Haven't really heard much about it since, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you hire a guy. We'll put it out there. I mean, you hire a guy, Glenwood Farabee, a state title winner out of North Carolina, a guy who had recently been at Virginia Tech as the director of high school relations. You bring him in January, and then the next thing you know, a couple months later, he's leaving to take a head coaching job in North Carolina. Just a tough spot there for the Tigers. I know they had some pretty big applicants for that job originally. I wonder how that will go next year when they reopen it. Because Coach Daryl Page is a legend. I believe won a state title there, I believe, at Wilson back in the 2000s, early 2000s. So certainly knows how to win. I know he's kind of on the back end of his career and kind of had just taken an assistant role at West Florence and just kind of was taking a step back. But it's helping out the Tigers this year. He's going to hop in as the interim head coach there. I think it's a program that they need a shot in the arm. They have not been what that community wants them to be since that state title back then. They've got tons of athletes. They've got every year. I feel like they got a guy go into a group of 5 or a Power 5 program, but just haven't won the games they want to win, going 3-8 last year. Especially, when those guys look at the success that South Florence and West Florence have had lately, that Wilson program can't be happy with that. Interested to see how Coach Page can do this year with that interim tag. I don't have any insight on this, but I would assume it's a 1-year deal. I don't think he wants to get back into head coaching full time. So we'll see how it goes. But if he can come out and win 5-6 games, maybe he does want to coach again, or if not, that makes that job even more attractive to somebody going into 2025.
Or even if he says, hey, I don't want to be the head coach, but I want to stay on the staff and, develop a bond with those kids here in this coming season, certainly be a good guy to have in your staff, for the future as well, and to help whoever it is that may come in as the head coach for 2025 season.
Yeah, and I forgot to do this when we got doing 5A, so I'll do it now, guys. But what is maybe your either most exciting or favorite hire in 5A and in 4A that we've seen so far? I don't know if one of you guys is ready right now or if you want me to go first, but I'm super kind of interested to get you guys' thoughts on those two classes.
Go ahead, John.
I'll say I think my most exciting – I'm going to say most exciting hire for 5A, I think it's Jabo Shaw. Just what you call a prototypical football guy. And this is again a program that is really, really good. The talent is there, but also, as you guys mentioned, there's a lot of talent that just left too. I think this is I would hate to do the win-loss game with the Greenville schedule because I've just got no idea. They're moving up to 5A. Who are the playmakers going to step up? Coach Porter done such a great job. You got a guy coming from out of state that's coming in. What's he going to do? But gosh, there's a lot of ingredients for that program to really stay hot. That in 5A, that Greenville one that's the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to pick two like I like to do because I'm very indecisive. Going to 5A, man, I'm going to go short-term and long-term. I love the hire of Randy Birch at Rock Hill. I think he's going to be good for that program that's had, not their level of success, but they're right there on the cusp of doing great things. So I do like Coach Birch moving over from Gaffney to Rock Hill. And then long-term, I'm going with your Demons, man. Coach Bulware. I love what he does on offense. I like offense better than defense. So I gotta pick one of each. But I think long-term, he's going to be able to get that community going. I think he's also serving as the AD there. So, obviously he's going to throw some more funds over to the football program. Sorry about it, track and field, but I think he's going to get those guys going long term, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do for the Demons.
And a little added note there, I didn't mention this earlier. So Coach Campbell, he is, I believe, stepping into a role with the district office where he is overseeing the athletic directors in Kershaw County. So, that could be a good thing for Coach Bulware too, to have
Sure.
Coach Campbell still within the district.
Yeah, and since you guys, I don't want to pick the same one as you guys. I'll go a different direction.
You can piggyback if you want to.
All those are great hires. Like, there's not like many on here that I don't like. I'm really intrigued to see what Coach Lorenzano brings to Fort Dorchester. That's a program like we mentioned. So much talent there, has so much success under Coach LaPrade. Bringing in a new philosophy, new face, guy just from out of state. That is one that intrigues me. The Low Country really has been doing a really good job, like you mentioned, Jerel, of putting more of a emphasis on football. We've seen some big time contenders, big time hires. You mentioned Coach Lodge at Berkeley last year. Obviously, Coach Lorenzano here now. You see what they're doing at Oceanside Collegiate. There were Coach Wilkes. Like, there's been some programs that have taken some big steps in the Low Country. Somerville as well with Coach Rafferty. They've been, headed to the moon, it feels like. So
Ashley Ridge has always been tough.
Ashley Ridge with Coach Tate, they've made some big strides as well. Excited to see what
Coach McCoy at James Island.
Oh my God, yeah.
Coach Smith at Lucy Beckham. The list goes on.
Exactly. The Low Country in the last 2 or 3 years has made some big strides. It feels like. I think this is another home run hire. Excited to see what he can do there for the Patriots. And then looking at 4A, man. Obviously, this is a cheap move here, but I love all the 4A hires. I really do. If I had to pick one, it's Coach Bryan at Gray Collegiate. You mentioned it, John. The rich get richer. They had a great coach in Coach Holmes, get a great coach in Coach Bryant. That program is what I love about what they're doing there is that you can tell that they want to be successful in athletics. Same thing with all the charter schools. Like, they put an emphasis on it. And it doesn't mean, I'm not saying they recruit or anything. I'm just saying that they want to win and they practice like they want to win, and they hire coaches like they want to win at a high level. Like, they're not half-assing it. Like, they're going all in. And I think he's going to take that program to even higher highs than what they've already done. I think he's going to be a great fit there for the War Eagles.
You see how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
Pregame warmups. They are a professional looking outfit. Just how they come off the bus, how they warm up.
Did they have a nice bus? Stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. They're putting money into athletics, which I appreciate that.
Well, they have that mentality too. It's us against the world. Like, every time they step out on the field, so it's a cool thing to see. If you don't get caught up in the whole charters versus publics, it is what it is.
Yeah, who do you guys like in those 4A ranks? What's maybe your favorite or most exciting hire?
So I'll go, and this might be a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to Coach Exume at Gilbert. I think, this was surprising with Coach Leafart, leaving the coaching, leaving his head coach. But this is such an exciting program, an exciting group. And for me, is it, okay, great, you're staying within the staff to promote within. Is it Gilbert football has just gotten it that way? Or was it all Coach Leapart? I think it's more of a program thing, and no disrespect to Coach Leapart. He's the one that built that. But, I think for me, it's going to be really exciting because that's just an exciting program, and they're going to 4A as well. I'm really excited about that one. I think that one's going to be really cool to watch for a number of reasons.
I can't believe you guys left me the low-hanging fruit. I'm going Coach Porter, obviously, at Lawrence. I mean,
not your TR Devil Dogs, Jerel?
No, I can't do it yet. That's a tough gig. It's a tough gig. So, no, I got to go Coach Porter. I mean, track record of success. I mean, at multiple programs, state championship winning coach, get a major coup. I know he has ties to the region. I think he actually lives in that area, and they're going to support him. This is a program. I mean, it's pretty much the only show in town there, in that county. So I think he's going to get all the resources.
You got Clinton over there.
I mean, in town, like in Lawrence, Clinton's kind of like on the border a little bit,
Right that county line.
Yeah. So, but no, I think that's a big hire, a big coup for them, and excited to see what Lawrence is going to be able to do under Coach Porter.
Perfect. Let's get a quick shout out to our friends of the program before we look down to the 3A ranks. The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net.
As we jump into 3A, we'll start with Georgetown. Bradley Adams, former head coach down at Georgetown, he's going to be replaced by Tommy Adams. He's got an interim tag on right now. He has been an assistant at the Georgetown program.
And this is an odd one here. Coach Adams has not been there very long. That was actually his first year there, I think it is. A guy that had been at Georgetown previously, obviously was at Woodruff, had some success at Woodruff, went back to Georgetown. They don't win a game. He leaves. I don't know what to make of that. A Georgetown, a program that needs some help. I honestly don't know anything about Coach Adams, Tommy Adams, that is. I don't know what they're going to do this year. Tough spot for those guys, but hopefully they can get headed in the right direction.
Yeah, we're going to have to step up our source game because I don't have much on this job either. I mean, I haven't heard much in the offseason. Obviously an interim tag, weird situation with, Coach Bradley Adams leaving so quickly. And I just don't know what to make of this one. Obviously, it's not a good situation. You got an interim tag, you're an assistant. It appears that there's not much, appeal to this job or people wanting it. And again, my heart breaks for the kids in these situations because, they're the ones that really suffer the consequences here. I hope they have some success as in winning a game this season and definitely wish them, the best of luck.
And gosh, it's Georgetown. I mean,
right?
It worse, you get to live in Georgetown.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting year. Are they related? Do we know that?
Cannot confirm or deny, John.
I couldn't tell you.
If anybody knows, let us know.
Hit us up with your Georgetown thoughts, guys.
We need some sources. I told you, I'm begging.
Well, with a program we are pretty familiar with, St. Joseph's, Chris Goodman, as we talked earlier, talked a little bit about the St. Joe's program. Chris Goodman steps down. He's going to be replaced by an assistant on staff, Eric Nash. Obviously, a great program. Again, I think this is a situation where if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I got to agree. It ain't broke, don't fix it. I love the internal hire there. Obviously, this is a program that has had, some success here recently, making the jump, obviously. So that's going to be a little bit different for them. But I don't see an issue with this hire. I don't see how it's not going to work out, because once you get to that particular point where you have success, like that's the expectation, and that permeates the entire culture of the program. And I think it's going to be business as usual for St. Joe's.
For sure. Coach Goodman left a great a program there. I mean, he's really built them into a perennial contender. I think they went 11-3 last year. I think they're going to do something similar with Coach Nash. We'll see how the change goes from 1 to 3A, but I expect them to be very competitive again this season.
It'll be interesting. I think probably the toughest job for Coach Nash will be is managing that jump, and how you prepare, what you do if you prepare differently. Maybe you don't prepare differently at all, but just seeing what they do differently, again, if they do anything differently from making that jump from 1A to 3A, because that's certainly, that's a big. I think jumping from 1A to 3A is different from 2 to 4. I think it's certainly dramatic. Go to a big program here in Marlboro County. Quinn McCollum, former head coach, again be replaced by Corey Johnson, coming down from North Carolina. Clinton High School is where he came from. They probably pronounced the T up there, not the Clinton that we know.
This is a super exciting hire. Coach Johnson had been at Clinton for 6 seasons and went 61-12. Just last year went 15-1, lost the state title game. Previously coached at Scotland County and at Catawba College. He's coming in. He's making some waves. A program that, we were growing up in the early 2000s. They were a powerhouse, a big-time program of Coach Boyd there. You mentioned the names of Tymer Zimmerman, Savell Newton. State title winning program back then. It had some down years. We know they've still got athletes. Super excited to see what he can do. I think this is a great hire there for the Bulldogs. I know some guys have already, made the move, players and coaches-wise, into the state to go to Marlboro County. Jerel, you may remember better than I do. I think they brought over like 6 or 7 assistants from North Carolina to come down to be on that staff. So hats off to Marlboro County, not only hiring Coach Johnson, but giving him the funds to go and get guys that he wanted to surround him in this program. So super excited to see what the Bulldogs can do there.
Yeah, I was super impressed when we had the opportunity to speak with him this offseason. And I don't think anybody in the state made more waves than Marlboro County, this particular offseason with that hire. Like you said, bringing multiple assistants, but not just assistants. He's bringing like multiple coaches with head coaching experience for that staff. Tons of resources being poured into the program. Another one of those sleeping giant type things. They have not had the success recently that you would expect from a Marlboro County, but I think Coach Johnson's going to do that. Very smart guy too, very plugged in on the 7-on-7 circuit as well. So, he's into that training, unorthodox approach to, his strength training for his program, where they really try to harp on speed and endurance and really getting after it. So it was cool to talk to him about, his vision for the program. And I think this is one of those ones where it's going to take off really, really quickly.
Yeah, I think they're going to be contenders right away. And I know we will have our full season preview shows come out here in a couple weeks. I do want to go ahead and earmark this. I am super excited to see Region 5 3A this year. We know what Dillon always is. Marlboro County this year with Coach Johnson, they're going to be coming. They're going to be bringing a lot of talent, a lot of players there. Then Loris as well is building up. They've got a lot of talent this year. It's going to be a super fun region. Can't wait to see Coach Johnson and the Bulldogs in the mix this year. I think that's a fantastic hire there from Marlboro County.
Now we've got a new school on our hands here, Mountain View Prep in Spartanburg. They're going to open up their program this year, and they have hired Greg Ramsey, Spartanburg assistant. What do we think about this hire? What do we think? I tell you what, we've seen some new schools, Lucy Beckham and Catawba Ridge, the last few years, make splashes early on. So it's possible.
I think so. Mountain View hiring a younger guy with Gray Ramsey, a guy that's been on staff at Spartanburg, spent time at Chapman as well, has coached some really talented athletes, some really talented quarterbacks especially, already made some waves, having some kids move into that program. Bryson Drummond from Greenville, Katie Hainsworth from Dorman, Jalen McGill, probably the biggest one coming over from Broome there, a big-time running back prospect. They're going to have a lot of talent. Numbers-wise, I don't know that may be the issue is what they've got depth-wise, just as far as just number of kids and bodies throw on the field. But they're going to have talent. They're going to be able to make some noise. I think in that region, they've got a chance to be a contender, especially for a home game, I believe. But I think he's a guy, similar to what we saw Gray Collegiate do with Coach Holmes when they started their program. They hired a younger coach, a guy that was energetic and a guy that could be there and build them for a long time. And talking to Coach Ramsey, you can see that this is where he wants to be. I think he wants to do it the right way. He's got some great ideas, and I think this is a program that he's going to build from the ground up, and they're going to turn into a perennial contender, I think, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, another coach we had on the show in our offseason series with these new coaches. I mean, Coach Ramsey was extremely impressive and, talking about how he, was working to build this program while he was still, acting as an assistant. He's got deep ties to that Spartanburg County area. I mean, I'm just really excited for the trajectory of the program. It's going to be like the others where it's going to take time to build depth, to kind of build awareness around them, but they've got a brand already. MVP, it's an entertainment type charter school, and I think it's cool how they've marketed their program, and obviously it's working because they're attracting top talent. Jalen McGill, I think Jalen McGill is the best player in the state, and when he made that decision to transfer to MVP, I think that caused a lot of eyebrows to raise, and coaches to worry because they know they're going to have to deal with these guys, especially for the next 2 years. Love Bryson Drummond going over there as well. He's a very fantastic quarterback. But Coach Ramsey, man, I was just so impressed with, for being a younger guy, his vision for the future, his coaching style, his background, and love the fact that he's a NASCAR guy too.
Who's this guy?
Oh, man. I don't know if he told us who his favorite was or not, but
yeah,
he's big into it, big in the game.
Very nice. Big program here at Silver Bluff. We talked about Coach D'Angelo Bryant heading to Gray Collegiate. Silver Bluff going to replace him with Matt Hayes, a Strom Thurmond assistant. And you talk about a program that has been really good lately, and that's Strom Thurmond.
Yeah, I love getting Coach Hayes from Strom Thurmond. This is a program that you said has really been successful, especially the last few years. And I think that's typically what you have to do. Like when you have a successful program and then you have a vacancy, you have to get a guy that has tasted success because he's going to better understand those expectations. Silver Bluff is a very impressive program. Really cool environment that we got to experience down there last year. That's a big, those are big shoes to fill with Coach Bryant making that transition to Gray Collegiate. But I think Coach Hayes has all the tools to fill that void. Yeah,
before Strom Thurmond, he actually spent time at South Aiken and at Silver Bluff. So he's been on staff before, and he's an alum. Another hire that, I love those when they get the guys that have gone to school there because, like I said, they understand the community, man. A program at Silver Bluff where if you're looking at lower classifications, 1, 2, and 3, they've got as much success and as many NFL guys as just about anybody in those lower classes, you would say. A program that wants to win, a community that wants to win. I think they're going to be just fine with Coach Hayes there, a guy that knows a lot of, has coached a lot of football. It's a great fit there for the Bulldogs.
And the attitude that they play with, you want to keep that in house. It doesn't make sense for Silver Bluff to go across the southeast to look for a head coach. Keep it right there. You got a good thing going. Last job in 3A, and this is one I'm interested in this one a lot. Union County, former coach Brian Thompson. He's going to be replaced by Quentin Isom, defensive coordinator from Crest High School, just across the border in North Carolina. If you don't know anything about Crest High School, they are a very, very good program. And they've had some defensive players, Clemson fans, if you remember Stephon Anthony, a guy that came from Crest High School. So Coach Isom, he certainly has probably been around a lot of talent and has been around some successful programs. And Union County, a team or a program, not just a team, a program that has been very successful, just not lately.
Yeah, I had been at Crest for the past 2 seasons as a DC. Prior spent time at Wren, Jailman, Easley, Seneca, and Greenville. Played collegiately at Gardner-Webb, a guy that's been around the upstate, familiar with this area, especially a guy that has had a lot of success. I believe he coached on that Wren State title team with Coach Jeff Tate there. You mentioned what Crest always has, man. They're always good there. A Union program that I think I can speak for all of us here. We want them to be good. They were a team, like Marlboro County we mentioned, that was the premier program in the state, or one of, you could say, when we were growing up. Roscoe Crosby and Kyle Browning and those guys. They were the it program, man. They were so good. They could beat anybody, any class, didn't matter. They fallen on some hard times. I think last year went 1-9. I mean, that's just not acceptable for Union County, and that's why they've got a new coach coming in. They probably don't quite have the talent they used to have just because of the way that the town is gone and whatnot. But I'm sure they got plenty of players there for Coach Isom to work with, and I like the hire there. A guy that's going to bring some new philosophies, some new principles in there, and a guy that I think understands what it takes to be a big time program.
Yeah, we caught up with Coach Isom early in our series this offseason, and it was awesome to get to understand his background. But I really appreciated how self-aware he was as well. Like, he understood, that this is going to be a little bit of a rebuild with the program, and he was really willing to accept that challenge. I hope that he's going to be able to get the support necessary, because that's one of those areas in the state of South Carolina that's kind of gotten left behind, I feel like, where people have kind of moved to other places. And that's certainly got to be affecting, talent pool, the school in general, the community, and things like that. And like you said, Kevin, Union County it's a special place, and we want them to be good. I know Coach Isom mentioned when we talked to him that made the job appealing. Like, this is a program that has, past history and great success in the state of South Carolina, and that's why he wanted to go there, and kind of resurrect, what has been done there. And I think he's a very good hire. I think he's going to do a good job. I just hope that the people in that community are going to be patient with him, because it's definitely going to take some time.
Yeah. And John, I think we do have Swansea as well. I don't know if you might have skipped that one back. I think we have Swansea as well here in 3A.
I did. I apologize to Swansea. I saw Union County. My eyes got big. Swansea, Brent Wilder, former head coach there. He's going to be replaced by the former Wagner Sally head coach, Willie Fox.
Yeah, I got reminded, man. We've been busy this offseason, Kev, with these interviews. We had Coach Fox on the program as well. The coolest thing that I got to learn, I know your eyes got big looking at Union County, John, but Swansea is a program that had some really, really big time success, especially back in the 90s. And they're definitely trying to tap back into that. Coach Fox struck me as one of those guys who's just going to be a grinder, going to roll up his sleeves and really get to work. He's coming from Wagner Sally, so he's coming from a place that, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, and he's going to be ready to get there and coach football and build men. I'm excited to see what he can do, and I hope that he can, get that Swansea program back to where they had that, great success in the 90s.
I believe won back-to-back titles, if I'm not mistaken.
It was either 2 or 3 in a row, something like that.
Yeah, Coach Fox went 69-31 in 9 seasons at Wagner Sally. Previously coached at Pillion. He's going to bring in his style of offense, change things up a little bit there for the Tigers. But I think he's going to be successful. It's cool to see and hear from him the community support they've got. He mentioned he's like, hey, well, when I was at Wagner Sally, when we played Swansea and they came to us, it was our biggest game of the year. Like that community. They support football. They support the school. He said he could feel that already. It's the short time he had been there. A program a community that wants a winner, that they want to be good again. I think Coach Fox is going to come in and do a good job there, turn that program around. They went 0-10 last year. That's not acceptable for Swansea, and they know that. So excited to see what he can do. I think he'll do a great job there with Swansea.
Wraps it up for 3A.
Yeah. Who do you guys like? What's your home run hire? What's your most exciting hire? Who you like? And I'll go first because I want to go first and take what I want this time. Not to wait on you guys, but I'm going to go Coach Johnson at Marlboro County. That is a super exciting hire, man. Like, I can't keep saying it. Like, he's going to bring in his style, bring in his coaches, bring in some of his players, and they're going to be ready to rock and roll in 3A this year. Super excited to follow the Bulldogs.
I think the one that I am, again, this is just a total picture that I'm excited about, is Union County. Mm-hmm. I think, years ago, they hired Steve Hill to be the head coach. And at that time, I was like, oh, man, what a great hire. And, for whatever reason, things just didn't work out. I think this is a good hire. getting someone, I talked about, hey, keep somebody in-house, keep somebody in-house. I think this is a great decision of bringing somebody in from not in-house. And nothing against the staff and people that have been there. I just think you need a little rejuvenation. And coming from, Coach Isom, that had been at a program like Crest that, really play at a high level. And defense, you start with defense. I think for a program like Union, if you can get that defense established, that can really go a long way. That's a program that I just feel like can make and maybe not year one, but can make a big jump.
Boys, I like chaos, and MVP is going to cause some chaos. You're throwing a charter school in I would say the football county in the upstate, in Spartanburg. No offense to Cherokee. I know y'all got Gaffney, but when we're talking about volume, I would say the football county in the upstate is Spartanburg, and MVP is coming up there, and they're making it known quickly, that they are going to get after it. They've got an abundance of talent. I would say Coach Ramsey he's a quarterback whisperer, man. So if he can get the things out of Bryson Drummond that we saw, his sophomore year when he's starting in Greenville at the end of the season there, I think it's going to be really fun to watch, and it's going to catch on like wildfire in that particular area. And I'm excited to see what Coach Ramsey's going to do there at MVP.
Well, yeah, that wraps up 3A, and that'll put a cap on this part one of our coaching carousel, 5A, 4A, 3A here in the state of South Carolina, guys. A lot of really good hires. I know obviously we did that little exercise where we picked our most exciting or favorite hire, and I could have picked 4 or 5 for each class. It felt like lots of really good hires here in the state and those bigger classes especially.
Yeah, and a lot of big programs having a new head coach, which is it's exciting, and it's we talked about it all last year. Throughout the season, there's some teams that we don't expect to be where they were and as successful as they were, and now this year, here we coming into kickoff of the 24 season, so many big programs with new head coaches. This is something I feel like for the few years that we've been doing this, we haven't seen. I don't know if we've seen this many big time programs having a new head coach all in the same year. That's what makes this so great.
Yeah, I think the theme for this year is quality over quantity. I just keep looking at this list and seeing these guys, whether they were already in state and took another job or came from out of state. We did not see as much out of state, this year, but the guys that we got from out of state, oh boy, I mean, there's some fantastic coaches. And I really think that, we say this pretty much every year, but because it's exciting, this is the off season and talking season, and you really get to see like an interjection into these programs, especially like you said, John, these big name programs too, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here. Obviously, they're not all going to work out. We're going to probably be doing this for a few people in the next couple of years, but right now on paper, it looks fantastic.
As always, guys, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Website at movinchains.com. Tune in probably in the next day or two for our next part, our 2A, 1A, and SCISA portion of the coaching carousel. We'll drop that here shortly as well. But for John Epps and Jerel Hendricks, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Movin The Chains 5A, 4A, 3A coaching carousel show, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.